And a one fish, two fish. And a one fish, two fish. And a red fish, blue fish. And a one fish, two fish. And a red fish, blue fish. I think that should be good. I want to play with Blender today. I think that should be good. I think that's the plan. Oops, I'm still echoing. Let's just double check YouTube too. While we're at it. And oops, I'm still echoing. Let's just double check YouTube too. While we're at it. All right, YouTube is fine. Let's just double. I see Catherine's on, so if she's on long enough, we'll go raid her. In the meantime, just out of nowhere, I decided to start playing with bubbles today. So, and this kind of has inspired me. So I think I'm going to do Blender stuff. What was I working on? The Winter Whimsy, the fuzzy sweater outfit, is. I think I'm done. I just need to make promos. Yo, Rod, how are you doing? Yeah, our good friend Charles won't be with us tonight. He's having issues sitting in a chair. It is becoming painful for him to spend a long time sitting these days. So hopefully he can get some help with that, or hopefully it clears itself up. So anyhow, he is not going to be sitting in a chair watching. Oh, boo hoo. anyhow, we got Rod here. I was playing with this bubble generating thing, and it kind of inspired me to maybe make a snowflake dropping thing. And I think maybe I'll try to do a simple um, sort of vignette background for the holidays with snowflakes, maybe some icicles, but I think maybe so I don't get too distracted from projects. The next thing up is the kind of like the 80s outfit, so I think I might make some earrings for that. Anyhow, let me see how this thing's working. Can we zoom in here? And then if I play this, does it work? So I was playing with this, a bubble generator, which has kind of inspired me. I'm trying to think. I was thinking of turning this into something that I can use for pinups. So I think I might like make a bubble curtain. And then what I was thinking is I would make them drop and be snowflakes. Yo, Leo, how are you doing? This is I think this is so I'm still opening it up 4.5. I haven't gone and grabbed 5 yet. Is it ready? I think it's ready. It's been a week since I've put up a new downloaded a new version of Blender, so let's go to blender.org and see. .org. Where are we at with the 5.0? Is it out? And remember, kids, you too can support Blender. I actually subscribe. I give them money, like $5 a month or something. Anyhow, remind me later because I'm already subscribed to you. It's here. Blender 5 is here. Okay. That's there we go. You already get money from me. I need to figure out how to log in so it'll stop doing this to me. Um, and support. Yeah, I do the support monthly. Da, 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 da. I think this is good. Do I want to go ahead and I'm going to load this up after stream. That's what we're going to do. So, anywho, I've got this thing running. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and make a bubble curtain, and then I'm gonna make dropping snowflakes. And if we have time, I might try to start a pair of earrings. I want to do kind of a pair of. You need to man up and give Blender a go. You need to get that studio rod. You love your poser though. I'm not gonna. You're having fun with poser. Anywho, let's stop this. You know what? We'll pop over here to layout. I'm in layout. I'm gonna switch back over to one of these shaded views. And you know what? I'm gonna import in a Genesis 8 figure. So it'll kind of give me an idea of how I want to set up maybe this bubble curtain thing. So there's F5 as import. Oh, look at that. I've got a shortcut to Genesis 8. How convenient is that? There you go. Okay, let's pop a... You know what? I'm gonna pop a circle in here. We're gonna update this. I'm in edit mode. I'm gonna undo what I just did. Okay, I'm in object mode. Shift A, mesh. Let's do a circle. Let's tab in. Let's select all. Let's extrude. Let's scale. Let's extrude again and let's scale that. So that's going to work for the generator for the bubble curtain. I'm going to set that so it just around this figure here. So we're going to run a little bubble curtain kind of like that. And then I have this physics system over here. Can I just copy that to another object? Does that work? I bet you I can. I bet you I can do something stupid like this. That, then that. Then is there a... Copy active to selected. And I'm going to then... Can I just deactivate that? And then if I... Does this do anything? That did not copy. Let's try this again. I can always rebuild it, but I'd rather just kind of copy it. Let's try this once more. I have circle selected. I have the other circle now selected. Actually, I got to do this the other way, I bet you. Select that, then select that. Then copy active to selected objects. There we go. Can I turn you off? And then we have this one. And then when we do this, yeah, baby. All right, I need smaller bubbles and I want more density. And so just a quick overview. You know what? So this is basically a particle system on a generator using an object, a sphere object, as the particles. And then I've tweaked the settings. So we're going to go tweak those settings some more. And we'll just do a quick overview. So we're going to up this number so that we get more. I'm going to make these smaller. Although that is kind of cool. So then over, so we have that. I have the lifetime set. We have our velocity set. I'm actually looking for the part that tells us we're going to use an object. There it is. We're going to use an object, and we can scale that. So we scale that down. So I think that it's kind of cool, but I want it to be larger bubbles actually. And those may be too large. Although I actually kind of want more of them. So I'm thinking something like that. You know what I should do is I should, I'm going to make a lighter sphere. I just have the default UV sphere in here right now. So we're going to swap out our current object. So let's stop that. Let's come back here. I'm going to swap this out for a lower res version of the sphere. So let's do a Shift A, mesh. Maybe an icosphere? And do I get options? Do we just want to do... No, maybe just a dodecahedron. It'll just give me like 20. There's an object for that, isn't there? Shift A, mesh, extras. I thought icosphere would have had. Does icosphere have options for sides? No, we're not going to do that. I thought there was a primitive. Gears, pipe joints, gemstones, extras. I don't know what Wall Factory does. I've forgotten. It's probably cool. A step pyramid. You know what? We'll just say UV sphere, and then we'll just tweak these. Let's say 8. And maybe 6. I think we'll do that. Shade smooth. I might play like a level of you look a little stretchy. I guess not. So let's scale that like so. Let's come over here. Let's swap out the invisible sphere for this new one here. I'm going to call this bubble base, so it's a little easier to spot. We'll run over here to object, and we'll swap this out for bubble base. Okay, now I have to change the scaling again, because bubble base is smaller. So I'm just going to say, I think 1 on that might be good. Is that going to work? No, you are not working. Why are you not working? Let's stop you. Let's Control A and make sure I have all transforms. And we'll come back over here and try to figure out why I no see nothing. Because you say object, your bubble base. If I go back to sphere, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kind of cheat. Where's sphere 1? Am I using sphere 1? I am using sphere 1. What if I combine that with this? If we control J those, I've got something. Sphere 1, bubble base, sphere 1. Nope, that selected everything. Where is sphere 1, by the way? Bubble base. You know what? I'm gonna. Did that do anything? That did not do what I wanted it to do. Let's try that again. I am confused now. I've totally confused myself. I'm going to get rid of that bubble base and reset this. Okay, so you are that. You're looking about right. Control L, G, just to see. You know what? I think that actually that's probably going to be okay. All right, let's play with the density and get this to be a little thicker. And then we see if we can get it dumped into DAS and how that'll look. So anywho, I always can just bring this back till it's somewhere like in about there, I think is what I'm aiming for. So we're currently in edit mode. Let's get out of edit mode. Let's come back here. Let's maybe say 20, 1, 2, 3. Let's see if this bogs down my system or not yet. That's actually not too bad. You know what? What if I duplicate this and spin it a little? Did I end up renaming you Bubble Base? Is that what happened? I think I did rename you Bubble Base. Let's shift DU. Let's come back to here. Let's tab, select all, scale that in, tab out. What happens if we run? Yeah, baby. What if I add one more layer in here? I'm going insane. Let's go back to here. I shift D that, tab in, scale. Maybe we scale out a little bit. And maybe I tweak the bubbles on this to be maybe a little smaller. I kind of like how fast that goes. You know what? They're all mirroring each other. Those you can see. So we have to add some randomness in between the three. Is it all the same? They're all linked to each other. I need a new, or I can just If I rotate this, wrong rotate. So if we rotate that, and if we rotate that, and then maybe if I duplicate this and make a new, you know what, I'm gonna switch the one inside for maybe bigger bubbles. Let's do that. Bubble base, bubble base 1, bubble base 2. Let's do bubble base. Let's come over here. Let's come up here. Can I do that? And now this is a separate system. And so I can tweak that. And we can come over here. I think I'm going to make these a little larger. So 0.35. And then if we do these, I think that's mildly interesting. Can I not show the emitter? I think there's a way to do that, right? Let's see if we can remember how this works. Somewhere is, I think somewhere there was a hide emitter. Is that in render maybe? Show emitter, that's it right there. And then we turn those off. And we come back to here. And I'm going to just let this run until it's just above the head a little bit. Maybe like that. All right, now let's play export time. See how ginormous this ends up being. So control, what am I doing? F6. F6 is an export. I'm going to say bubbles. Let's put this in projects somewhere. Let's create a new directory. Bubbles and snowflakes. I'll say bubbles for now. We'll do that. And you know what? I may eventually turn this stuff into a DAS folder, so let's put a whip folder in here. I think I hit my, did I hit my cap lock? I did not. Okay. Bubbles. Okay. Here, we use our DAS preset, so we send out only our selected and export that. And then we'll pop over to, not you, we'll pop over to launch DAS. I got to launch DAS. Hey, DAS has been launched. All right, let's import. Let's put DAS like this. And I'm just going to put a thin water or glass shader on this when we get it in here. You are import an existing file. We'll come over to projects. We'll go take a look at bubbles. I'm going to say whip. There's bubbles. Too big for preview. Oh my gosh, that thing's like a gigabyte. Well, will it import? And then I want to see if it'll render. It will import. At least it looks like it's importing. There we go. That is kind of really slowed things down. Let's get MSI Afterburner up and running so we can kind of see what kind of stress we're putting on the system. You know, that's not too bad. I'm not using up that much memory, really. It runs a little slow in DAS. But other than that, how bad does it get if we put a sub-D modifier on here? Edit geometry. In which case, I might even make these smaller. But here, what am I doing? I'm convert to sub-D. I'm making Daz angry now. Yeah, we're probably going to undo this. I've never had anything convert this slow before. Then again, I didn't load it up more than 1 GB object file and try to sub-D it. It moves. It barely moves. You know, if I had a more stronger graphics card, I would be really obnoxious. I'm going to take that off. Can I just undo that? And we'll see how this works. Is my mesh resolution is still on. All right, let's switch you to base. Let's try. All right, let's try putting a shader on here. I've got shaders over here on the side. I'm going to go with glass thin to start with. I think we'll do that. That one says glass thin, so we'll do that. Let's see if we can render this. My GPU is chugging away, isn't it? Look at it there, 93%. It is rendering. That's not my... Did I accidentally save this over my startup file? God damn it. Well, so it does come in. It does render. I'm going to stop that. Yeah, I think I accidentally overwrote my startup file. Do I have another copy of my startup file somewhere? I think I just have to reset it. We're just going to reset everything. So I'm going to delete that out. I'm going to reset up the stuff that I use for my startup file. Do I have my regular stuff in here? I have nothing in here. Arg. All right. All right. Let me see if I've got an old version. If I was smart enough to save an old version of my startup file. We'll put you over there. We are looking for start up dash, and I need a duff file. 1. You said you haven't been modified since. I don't know. Let's try. I'm going to move Daz off to the side. I'm not sure what's in the startup file. It looks to be about right, but we're going to put you over here for just a second while I drag and drop you in. I think it's too small to have too much in it. Yeah, you look like you're. That looks about right. Only my file size is wrong. So we'll reset that up. Other than that, that's my basic startup file. Render settings. I must have hit save when I was rendering out some promo stuff just before stream. General. Yeah, let's put you back to 1000 by 1300. Let's hit save on that. And then actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do file save as scene. I wish it would remember where I got my startup file from. It's over in my Daz library. Right here. Right here. I'm going to change my startup file. I'm going to protect this one. We're going to call you startup 11 2025. Let's do that. Okay, let's accept that. Let me see if I can remember where we set up the thing that opens up the startup file. It might be in preferences. Startup. There it is. We're going to switch this for the one we just saved. That one right there. So that's my new startup file. And then accept that. And you are still the wrong size. Oh, you're 13 by 13 because constrained proportions got checked. So let's fix that. This is Dad's promo size, by the way, 1000 by 1300. The reason why I've got this sort of odd size. Dum, dum, dum. I'm going to hit save on this, and we should be good. All right, let's load in our bubbles again. Bubbles. You know what I might do is I might tweak that a little bit to maybe generate some even larger bubbles. And we'll lower the numbers down, and that should help take that. Anyhow, let's see how this renders with a proper renderer. Now that I've got my basic, I've got one of those Denki Gaka. I think it's Denki Gaka, something like that. Makes all these cool HDRIs over at Daz. One of those is what's in my standard startup file. All right, let's select that. Let's go over to surfaces. Let's select that. Let's set that with that thin glass shader. Actually, do I have a water shader? Thin water. We'll put the thin water on here. I also have this thing that says default. We'll set that to invisible. And now let's see how this looks. It kind of looks cool. Can I get it to be more reflective? So can't see it through quite as easily. We'll turn that off. Let me do something. Oh, now it's eating up 7 gigabytes. You know, when I brought it in before, you need something like this for. Yeah, we can knock out an easy one. In Blender, it was pretty easy. I could give you the DUF if you want, or the blend file. And then it's a matter of tweaking the and it's mostly a matter of tweaking that. Unless you want to go do it yourself. I watched a couple of tutorials. I had to watch a second one because the first one didn't mention how to tweak the objects properly. Yeah, it's just particles from an emitter. We have an emitter. You have an object that'll be your bubble. So you set up a particle system. You can adjust the numbers here. We are going up, so what that requires is we tweak way down here in the field weights. We tweak gravity to be a minus number. So gravity normally goes down at 9.8 meters per second squared, right? So in this case, this thing is going at minus 0.1 of that. So it's going at minus 0.98 meters per second squared. So that's one of the tricks. Yeah, and you just have to set up the right shaders. And then, of course, the other thing is you render as an object, and then you pick the object that you're going to render. And you can tweak that, and then you can scale that. So those are the main things, I believe. Then there's other little tweaks. But the basic is particle system, set up the number, set up the range it runs. The velocity is the initial velocity from the normal. If you want it to go in a different direction, you can set those over here. So object align, or the Y or the Z. Actually, if I pull that out. So you can have X, Y, or Z with an initial velocity. Moving on, physics. This just allows it to, I'm not sure what this does, but Brown in motion kind of adds a little bit of random jiggle to it. The object, in this case, we have selected a sphere that's going to act as a bubble. We have it scaled, and then I have the scale randomness so that you can have the different sizes. Oops, I think I see a bot in chat. Other things, field weights, and this is the one that makes it go up instead of down. I mean, alternately, you could come over here to your scene, and this is actually where gravity lives. So you can actually adjust your gravity, but that's global, right? And then this is just the local particle system. So I think that's the gist of it from what I picked up. And one moment, I have to pop over into my Twitch chat and do something. That is not my Twitch chat. You are my YouTube chat. You are my Twitch chat. There we go. I know. At least it knows I got the best viewers and not those cheap ass viewers. Although I appreciate the cheap ass viewers too. Anyhow, bot be banned. I'm going to tweak this a little bit, save it, then I want to play with dropping some snowflakes down to kind of make, and maybe I'll figure out how to do icicles. And maybe start a simple vignette for a winter scene. I think I'm going to want maybe a simple love seat or something, although I'm not going to get to that today. Maybe we'll work on that Thursday or Saturday. At the rate I'm going now, I'm still playing with bubbles. I'm going to try to maybe... So I think this is... I think I set that one up as a different system from this one, right? Yep, so these are, so I think I'm going to actually make these bubbles bigger and less numerous. And then I'm going to make these smaller. I think I've already lowered that down. And action. So I'm going to come down to object scale and maybe make that 0.3. And I think I'm going to switch this back to actually 0.15 on that. And you know what? We'll set these. That was at 3.5. Let's see if we do 0.35, how that looks. You know what? That might do the trick. So let's see. Grab all of these. We'll export selected only. I think this will make for a little bit lighter than what we currently have. We'll pop back over here. You can go away. I want a better bubble material in Daz too. That's another thing. Reminds you of Quantum Leap. I forget. Is that how he did it in Quantum Leap? I vaguely remember the show, although honestly I didn't watch it that much. Although I remember that made him kind of an established actor, so when he became Captain Archer, it was like kind of cool. Oh yeah, it's the cool guy from Quantum Leap is now the captain. He was actually good at Star Trek. I liked him. We're importing again. Boop. Bubbles. Okay, this is about half the size. Easy. So maybe we can get a little bit more speed out of this. If you get in too close, you can probably see the jankiness. That's actually not too bad. What if I switch to, what does it look like in the wire? Those are denser than they should be. I'm still using the wrong sphere. But it's better than it was before. Let's come back over. You know, I'm gonna delete that out. And let's see if I can tweak. What do you think my object is? You think I'm using sphere. Okay, let's come over to sphere's hidden. Let's switch over to something a little easier on the. You know what? I'm just gonna go in and maybe like delete every other. And what are you? Oh, I know. I remember what you are. You're this. You're my initial. So I think we will just maybe quarter the size of this. Can I get rid of that? I can't. And then can I get rid of you and you and you and you and you, you and you, and we'll just dissolve all of that out. Dissolve edges, and then I'm just gonna. There's probably a clever way to do this. I think I vaguely remember a way to do a loop alternate select. I'm not going to look it up because by the time I figure it out, I'm going to be done with this. All right. And now I'm going to just export this out again. And we'll see if this looks janky or not. I probably should have duplicated this. I'm in object mode. I selected all those. I'm hitting the export button. I'm going to do bubbles. We'll come over here. This may get me maybe 125, 130 megabytes down from the 560, somewhere in there, probably close to 130. Let's see. Let's find out. This should quarter the size of the object. It did. It's 130. Look at that. So are we still looking smooth? Even though it's going to be a little janky now. And I could probably, I might be able to sneak a sub D level on here and maybe switch it so that it just kicks in during render. Texture shaded, let's do that. You know, even zoomed in, you can kind of see the edges, but it's not too bad. Let's pop over here. Let's go ahead and I'm in surfaces. Let's get out of surfaces. Let's come over to the scene tab. So I can maybe try to do edit geometry, convert to sub D. Oops. You need to select something, dude. All right, all right. Edit geometry, convert to sub D. That went fairly quick. So we can set the viewport, and then we can take the render to 1. And that'll help smooth stuff out a little bit as far as performance. Okay, let me see if I can play with the bubble. What do I have over here? I have a glass solid clear. That might cause some nice distortion. I have uber water thin, and then I have glass thin. You know what? I think I'm going to put the you know what? I have to select the bubble surface, don't I? Doi. Now let's see how this works. And also, let's take a look at our performance in Afterburner. Actually, that looks kind of cool. And we were actually running at about 7 gigabytes of GRAM being used up, and that just kicked up an extra 2. So that's not too horrible. So we're still running in the GRAM, although all of that glass is going to take a little while to calculate even. I just need to steal a better graphics card, that's all. That's kind of what I think I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything with this or not. I might. Maybe I'll just make a silly product of stupid sphere shapes and cool ways of posing with them. I don't know. I'm too busy making clothes, though. Okay, so I'm kind of happy with how this is going. This may eventually render. If I kick it back to 1 level, I wonder if that... I've still got a bunch of noise in here, so I don't think my denoiser is kicking in. Let's turn that off. Let me just double check and make sure it's actually set. What am I looking for? I'm looking render properties. Is my filtering? The denoiser's off. There's my problem. I still don't. This might take a little while on a render. And Chris isn't a big fan of slow renders, even with his outdated graphics card. If I had a cleaner initial load, it might be better. But I think I've just got too much GRAM or VRAM being eaten up at the moment because I'm just, my baseline is currently 7 GB of the VRAM in use before I even start rendering. Anywho, that has promise. Let's turn that off. Am I going to save this? Nah, I'll come back to it. I'm going to play with the material settings later. I am going to hit save on this. Have I saved you yet? I have not. Look at that. It's the dreaded unsave. File, save as. Let's just put you into that. Let's go up a level. Let's find that bubble folder we just made. You're not to be. Oh, there it is. Why are you all the way down there? How even does it figure that out? Okay. Yeah, we'll do a save as on that. Let's do file, new, general. Chris wants to make a snowflake, so we're going to start with a cylinder. I'm plotting. All right, we're going to start with a 6-sided cylinder. I'm going to work from the top. I'm going to make one. I'm going to chop this up at some point and rotate it around and merge things together. But for right now, I think this is going to be like a flat, wee little snowflake. And I'm kind of designing it in my head. So give me a minute here. All right, I got what I'm doing. Scale Z. So I'm going to want it to be kind of flat. Then I want to tuck in here, and then I'm going to extrude out, do some recutting, extrude a little bit more, start building. Yeah, all right. Scale. Extrude along here. Let's do this. Control Shift, Control F. Is it Control F? Extrude individual faces. So I want to kind of do that. And then I want to do that again. And then pull you out like that. And I want to branch there. pull you out like that. I want to branch there. So that's a connection. That's a branch. That's a branch. 1, 2, 3. So I need 3 more of these. 1, 2, 3. I think that's going to be. Although now I've made this thinner than I really want. Or maybe it'll be okay. Nah, I think you're. I want it to be chunkier. If that makes any sense. So I'm going to delete everything except for this one branch over here. And then I'm going to detail this out, and then we're going to spin it around 3 times. I don't know, maybe the screw modifier can do something with that, although I'll probably just end up copying it and manually rotating it. So do I want to do a little scale on the Y here? No, I do want to do that after I scale on the Y. Is that what I think does? Yes. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to come down to here. I'm going to delete all of these. I'm eventually going to connect these out, but what I want to do is, and I probably should chop you in half. Like so. And then I can just use a mirror modifier in this for right now. Flip that over to the other side. I think by default it's going to go in the X direction, and we'll switch it over to the Y. And then I can start building this out. Actually, yeah, no, that's probably be fine. That was not fine. I think I want to make that one thinner. Or maybe not. Maybe. Yeah, we're thinking thinner. And then I'm going to make this one a little thicker. You know what? I could probably just, yeah, I'm going to do it this way. Kind of the long way, but kind of eyeball it so they're sort of the same. Maybe we slide all of this back. Just a little. Get these to be, that might be okay. Yo, Farrell, how are you doing? Why are you seeing something that looks like it might be because it was a spam post and I banned them. I don't know why you're seeing it though. Oh, maybe, it probably, you're on YouTube. I don't know if it shows up on Twitch or not. They might have gotten around the filter, but YouTube probably doesn't filter out as well. Anyhow, they're gone. How are you doing today? I think this is good. I think I'm going to apply my mirror modifier. Let's tab out. Let's apply. Let me see if I can just put a simple screw on here. If that works. Angle will be 60, I think. Iterations 1. No, angle will be 360. You know, the screw modifier isn't going to do what I want it to do. I'm just going to have to dupe and rotate. Shift D, RZ60. So we're just going to do that. Shift D, RZ120. Shift D, RZ120. No, that didn't work. Let's try this again. How many do I got? I got 2. Shift D. All right. RZ120. Okay. Shift D. I fat fingered. Shift D. RZ120. There we go. Oh, you popped in the other day, but it is good to see you in chat. Okay, let's join all of those. I'm making a snowflake. I'm going to make a falling wall of snowflakes. So that's what I'm doing right now. So first off, I need my snowflake. This is similar to the snowflake I'm using on the sweater for the outfit I was working on recently. Let's merge these points by distance. I have a really small distance, so it should get these corners right here. Merge them up. I'm gonna. Can I just? What if I grid fill that? You know what? I'm just gonna do that, and we'll just grid fill this. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Do I want to put UV mapping on this thing? You know what? I think I might. I'm going to put a cut right through the middle like that. We're just going to mark a seam out of that. I'm going to do a 3AU unwrap. Let's go take a look at what we got. Looks about right. I'm going to rotate this about 30 degrees. And I'm going to set up a thin strip that'll drop snowflakes. It's way too big right now too, I can tell. I'll start with that size there, and we can adjust back over here. So I'm going to set up a thin strip with a bunch of polys in it that'll act as a emitter to drop snowflakes. And we'll see if I can get these to kind of come down. Can we get them to float? Maybe the Brownian motion will do something. It would be nice if they could kind of come down at a weird angle. Daughter is coming back downstairs. Catch you again. All right. Hey, take care, Farrell. We will catch you later. It was good to see you. So let's do a Shift A. Let's do a plane. Let's tab in here. And there's the way to, is there the subdivide thing? Can we just do that in here? Faces subdivide. That would be, that's asking too much. There's a way to subdivide a face, isn't there? There's face. I mean, I can put a modifier on here and tweak that. I guess we could just do that. I just put a subdivision modifier on here. We'll say simple on that. I'm going to switch over to wireframe. It would be nice if I could actually see these. Oh no, that's wait. let's maybe do. Let's do 4. What does 4 do? Where am I? I'm in object mode. Why am I not selecting anything? No. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. Let's add, let's say 5. Control A. I might go with that. I'm going to delete everything but the middle. I selected the wrong thing. There we go. And then Control I. Delete. Faces. Let's take this. Bring it up. Scale it on the X maybe. Okay, we're going to put a particle system on this. Dang it, I fat fingered something. We're going to use my new particle system knowledge. All right, I'm going to start with that. So if I just run this, it's because my normals are pointing up. Let's flip it. ARX 180. There we go. And now I'm not getting nothing. Because am I still in edit mode? I'm still in edit mode. That's my problem. Doy. Okay, so we're going to play with that. Only we're going to make it nice, gentle snowflakes. So we're going to take advantage of this, the field weights that we were talking about earlier. I'm just going to lower that so they fall down. Maybe we'll lower that even smaller. I think I'm going to lower the density down. Maybe, we'll do that. Can I set up something with air resistance though? Let's look this up. Blender physics simulation, air resistance. Physics simulation, air resistance. Realistic rigid body falling physics. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do this, but I think what I can do. I think, well, let's get the snowflake in here. Let's play with that. So we're going to come over to, I think it's in render, right? Render. We're going to turn off halo and we're going to say object. I'm going to stop showing the emitter and we're going to use cylinder and I'm going to rename cylinder. No. Flake. I can see them, but they're really small. So let's tweak back over to here. And see, it's the scaling is like 20% the size. If I do that, I want to just make sure That has all my transforms on it. Okay, and then we're just going to adjust. And they're all dropping flat. We'll tweak that. So scale 0.3, probably better. A RX90. And I want them, I actually want them to kind of maybe face the direction. So RZ90. There we go. We're getting there. And I want it to be, let's say RY30. Nope, that wasn't it. RX30. There we go. I like that. Let's come back over to snow emitter. We'll do that so it's easier to spot it. Tab out. Select that. Is it automatically terminating at the ground? I think it is. There's probably an option for that somewhere. I think I saw it. I mean, one thing is we could just kind of pull that up there and maybe make you taller. Oh no, they're not hitting the ground. They're dying out before they do that. It's because their lifetime's too short. That's better. All right. We're still... Can I get random? So we'll alter the sizing a little bit. Just signed up with Fine Art America, so we'll see how that goes. Oh, you just... That's right, you re-signed. That's where I got... I think I bought my first mug from there. Let's see if we can add a little bit of rotational motion in here. That's giving me some randomness. I think I have to actually rotate this. Your best customer, me and Jolene. Mm-hmm. And I've got 2 mugs. One I can't drink about anymore because it's got a cracked handle. I believe it is still behind me somewhere. There it is. It's back there. I don't know if you can see that. I got it on my shelf. And then the other one's in drinking rotation. Right there, off to the side, with my collection of mugs that I used to drink out of. Okay, rotate particle during Blender physics. Rotate particles while moving. I don't know, something like that. In the particle settings under the advanced tab. Do I have the advanced tab? Add rotation to particles. Where at?
Randomly. So depending on the count, there's going to be more or less of the objects. So let's close the render, and the next setting that I want to go over is the rotation. So I mentioned earlier that we were going to go over the rotation later in the video. So let's now drag the rotation here, right here underneath the render, and we'll open it up and just turn it on. So now that we've actually added objects here, we can actually use the rotation. So if I just want to randomize the rotation, I can just turn up the randomize. I can also turn up the phase and the random phase, and that way the rotation is going to be much more random. Now, if I want them to rotate during an animation, I can also turn on the dynamic, and this will...
Ooh, dynamic, that's what I'm looking for. Dynamic. Yeah, baby. Hey, Leo, how are you doing? I don't think that's doing anything. Is that who that was? Ryan King? They do not seem... Okay, let's go back. Oops, damn it.
will actually affect the animation. So with the dynamic turned off, when they bounce off of the object, they're not going to rotate. However, if I turn the dynamic back on, now if I play this, you can see they're going to rotate a bit when they hit the object. So if you just take a look at this monkey head, you can see it rotates as it's hitting into the object. Now let's say you want the particles to automatically be rotating when they're emitted out. Well, to do this, you need to turn the angular velocity in...
Aha! Angular velocity. Bum, bum, bum. Whee! Wah, 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 wah. I actually wanted them to... That's better. That's going way too fast, though. That's what I was looking for. Yep, YouTube has. Okay, let's tweak that 0.05. That's kind of what I, except they're all, I think if I wanted to go the other way, and can I randomize the, it would be nice if I could randomize the amount of, I mean, I guess I could probably do that with an animation filter. I saw somebody do this on a video and it was kind of cool. And I can't click, I can't see what I'm doing over there. Let's go to the graph editor. Let's bring that up. Let's select, oh no. Let's select the snowflake. No, let's select the emitter. Yeah. And then can I do the thing that does the thing? No, I don't have the thing that does the thing over here. I'm going to do all of that. I might just live with it like this. I think I'm going to slow those down though. In my drop speed, was doing that over here, 0.001. Point 0.0001. Let me switch you back to my timeline. Oh, that's gravity. And you didn't change anything. No, it is. I'm just adjusting the gravity. Now the gravity's set to like nearly 0. And it's still, well, if I set you to 1, yep, 0.01, 0.001. I think I've hit like a minimum in here, 0.01. I mean, the next step is maybe we come over here and just change the gravity. -1. One. I shouldn't. So you shouldn't be dropping anymore. Oh, there we go. Oh, I think I know what I need to do. There's there's a velocity. There's an initial velocity. So I'm going to set you back to regular gravity. And then we're going to come in here and try to remember where that velocity thing is. Are you in physics? Nope, that's not it. You are velocity. There it is, velocity. It's doing 1 meter per second squared. You know what? I'm going to just turn you off. So they just, and only gravity pulls them down. And then we'll tweak the effect of gravity. That's why I couldn't get it any lower, because it had that initial 1 meter velocity going with it. So now I should be able to come back over here and lower you. Yay! Of course, now they're not. Now their lifespan is too short. But that's kind of what I was going for. Let's tweak. Let's make you 200 the play length. So you should stop. They should not go away. And they are going away. Here, I'll just set that to 1,000. There we go. I'm getting there. We're going to tweak the Ooh, I like that. I think I just need to make this longer. I might, yeah. Um, I was kind of thinking I might do this as a stream overlay. So I would need to render, so I need an HDRI. I need to render a clean background. I would probably put like a glass shader on this. Um, Something like that. What time is it? I still got 26 minutes. And I would make this to be, I don't know, what are you going to say? 30 frames a second, 3000. If I make it run for a half a minute, that's 9,000 frames. So and we extend. And then I can have it die out. So I have it start up, and then I can have it die out. And I can have it run for maybe 20 seconds. Let's say 20 seconds. And so we'll set this up so that we will I need like a couple of seconds to clear the screen. So maybe I'll say 3 second at the end, 6,000, call it 5,100. Start frame is 1, end frame will be 5,100. I think I think 1,000 on the lifespan gives it enough time to drop off the screen. Of course, I have to crank up that number now so we get more of these dropping, because that has to span the whole process. So let's try this. That's a bit better. And then I'll see if there's a way. If I save it as a QuickTime, I can use an alpha channel with that. Yeah, I think I've after all these years, I may have a new point routine. It'll be snow. Hopefully I can have this ready in time for after Thanksgiving. Now I kind of also wanted to kind of use this as a pinup background in Daz Studio. So I probably will do a slightly different version for that, where I'm just going to drop a bunch of snowflakes and then put them in. Anyhow, maybe this is a little long. Maybe we'll switch it to 10. I'm going to stop that. I'm going to do that. Let's set our life to end it. Let's say let's try 2,500. Let's change the number of that. And let's see how slow. I'm running close to real time here. No, I've got this isn't 300 is 10 seconds. 600. I'm counting wrong. That's like 100 seconds. Let's switch you to 600. And let's put you at 600. Did I run out of, is it just a lifetime? Oh, now you're just being weird. Oh, I see. My problem is this is my number. I'm typing the wrong numbers in here. So start, you're supposed to be 600. And then yeah, so let's set you to maybe 700. This should stop at 600. So that gives me maybe 100 frames for these to, and I'm not sure that's going to be enough frames for the last ones generated to drop through. No, not quite. I need to extend that out a couple or pull you back. Maybe 500 on that. That was just weird. Did I type in the wrong one? One and let's reset. Let's rerun. Yo, Art, how are you doing? You have access Tuesday, but not Monday. I don't know. The gods always did mess with you more than the rest of us. I need a few more frames in here. Is it good? Is it good? Is it good? I can probably stop it at 725. All right, hit save. Cleared it. Okay. Let's play with the snowflake material now. Let's come over. I'm going to just grab something out of the blend kit. So come over to materials. Let me see what they have for ice. We'll bring that up. You know what? I want to stop you. We're going to come over here. You know what? Maybe we'll do that. I need to set up a camera though, don't I? Am I currently on my camera? I'm currently not on the camera. I have to adjust the camera. Whee! And you didn't move. You were supposed to move. I think I need to go back a little bit. I think I need to go back a little further. I think maybe we can frame it up right there. So are you still good? You're not good. I hate camera controls in this stupid program. I think I'm good. I think I'm good. I think that's going to work. And yeah, and I can. So let's let the snowflake. Let's do that. Let me see if we can switch over to. And let me see if I can get an HDRI in here. That's not locked. Most of these are locked because they want you to pay for stuff. Maybe I'll do add assets in the full plan. Okay, I couldn't see the little. Let's say snow. BlendKit has a whole bunch of free stuff. But then again, of course, they're only showing. I'm not seeing any of it. Are you free? You might be free. I don't really want to run to the background, but I do want to be able to see the snowflakes. Let's try this. I can't really see them. Let's try another material on them. You can kind of see them. Can I do a no? So here's stuff I don't know really how to do with Blender is how to render out a series of frames. I know how to assemble them, I think. I think I can do that with Premiere Pro. I think I've done that with Premiere Pro. Um I don't know. Let me take a look at rendering. Um is there a render animation? I need to hide the background. I still don't see any yet. They're still probably off screen. I would think I would see something now. Oh, there it is. There's the first one. There's the first one. All right, I think what I need to do is position the camera so that the top of the frame is right underneath the emitter, or at least, or move the emitter down. Oh, I see them now. There they are. This might work. If I can figure out how to render this with a transparent background. Can I cancel you? So we'll do a couple of tweaks here. We'll do that right there. All right, we're Googling. Blender render animation, no background. It's probably under the camera thing somewhere. Probably an output somewhere, right? I'm currently using Eevee. I'm probably will switch that to cycles for a final output. I know having typed that in there, I'm now not even looking at it. Um, that is the camera. This is the output. Here we go. Output. PNG, color management, RBG alpha. Is it in the world settings? Maybe world settings. Nope. In the render settings, go under shading and into set alpha to transparent. That's the output in the render settings. Go to shading. That's classic Blender for you. An answer from 10 years ago is no longer valid because they've moved stuff around. Rendering Blender with a encode QuickTime. I don't want to do that. I want to transparent can be set in the render settings. Okay, where is that? I am in the render settings. Do I have to be in? If we switch the cycles, this will take forever, but and I'm not going to do that on stream. Maybe I'll set that to render under film. Transparent. There we go. That was it. And then I want to render out as a series of images. That's an output, isn't it? Probably. That's where I would put it. Image sequence. And then I'm not quite sure, where are we saving to? I'm saving to a temp folder. Okay. I'm not sure what's in the temp folder, so I'm not going to look at it on stream. It's probably in apps somewhere. So if I start this, I've got 7 minutes. This isn't going to render out in 7 minutes, that's for sure. What is my output settings? Do I have my sizing? Right there, there's the resolution. Excellent. So actually I could just, is it F12? It starts the render. Am I set up for animation or is it just going to do a single frame? I think F12 is a single frame. I think I have to tell it to do sample 65 of 496. Really? We're going to stop you. Render animation. Oops, I lost it. Render animation. 7 hours and 25 minutes. Does it have... I'm still on frame 1. I might switch to Eevee and try to remember how to do the transparent thing with Eevee. Oh, now I got 11 hours remaining. Is that... Oh, no, 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Sorry. Am I on frame? See, my afterburner, my MS... Actually, that's Riva Tuner. Riva Tuner's in the way. I can't see my frame count because I got my CPU, RAM, and GPU data up in the corner. It's under the film tab and Eevee as well. Okay. I know Eevee's trickier to get the transparencies, and I always forget how to do that. Does that say... Maybe I'm still on frame 1. I can never tell with this thing. Does that say 19 hours? I'm totally going to have to figure out how to get this to run with Eevee. Cycles is too crazy. Oh, I have no idea. That thing just doesn't mean anything, does it? I think I'm still on frame 1, though. I got a few minutes. Let's see if I can remember how to set up a transparent material with Eevee. Well, here, let's first things first. Let's switch it to Eevee. And let me just actually see if I can get some sort of render and an idea of what it's looking like with Eevee. So we'll try that. I can already see the frame count kicking along a lot better. Let's see if something pops up in screen here, though. There's the first one. After about a second. You know what? That might not be too bad. I just need this as kind of a janky animation on top of my stream. I can actually see the progression. Is that the progress, or is that where I left off? No, that's not the progress. I think I'm at a frame 100 and something already. I have a hard time telling. I probably should move this someday. Although this will get done in a reasonable amount of time. So there we go. I'm going to have a new channel point redeem. Let it snow. We'll set this up for after Thanksgiving. And I guess and if I can get this to work right with, I'm going to try to do it with StreamerBot. See if I can get StreamerBot to launch this without having to use Triggerfire. Yo, I'm only a big child. How are you doing, friend? I'm playing with making the snowflakes. And I think I'm going to take a version of this where I'm going to use it as like a backdrop for a Daz scene. But this I'm going to turn into an overlay for stream. I feel all Blender professional now. All right, well that's cranking. I think right about we're going to call the stream right about here. So I managed to get Bubbles into Daz. We did that, and now I've managed to start working on this snowflakey thing. So yeah, thank you all for being here. Let's see who's on. So if you're on Twitch, we're going to be looking for somebody to raid. If you're on YouTube, I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe. So I'm going to look on Twitch and see who we're going to raid. I will be back Thursday, 2 days, 7 p.m. I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing. I might actually be back on the 80s inspired outfit. I didn't get around to doing earrings today, and I'm not sure I'm going to do earrings. Although I kind of like doing the earrings, even though I don't see, although I don't think they do anything for sales, but they kind of make the outfit a little more complete, I think. So currently it's going to be a box pleated skirt. I'm going to have a crop top off the shoulder shirt to go with that. I'm going to make leggings, and we'll make high heels that'll go with that. It's going to be those leggings where they don't cover the feet. So it's just going to, and then I think we'll make earrings. Oh, and I want to do the wristy things. You remember in the 80s, like Madonna had those lace things? Or they actually just like handless gloves? Something like that. I'm going to do something like that too, I think, for the outfit. So I'll probably be working on that on Thursday. Bangles. Not bangles, no. Bangles are more like bracelets. And that's more good to see you. I think bangles are types of bracelets. There's another bracers. Not bracers. I'm sure there's a more technical term. Gloves without being gloves. I don't know. I will have to look that up in order to properly name it when I make it. I'm looking on Twitch. We're going to see who we can raid on Twitch. We're gonna look for an art friend, and barring that, we'll just maybe go with one of the Twitch buddies. And barring that, there's always music friends. Well, not always. I'm not sure. Irumakin is on, so that's an option right there. Our good friend Irumakin, doing words on stream, opens Kinder eggs, makes puzzles. Although I think we usually get in there kind of late. My friend Targasong is doing music. Okay, and I'm going to just roll up here and see if we've got any Permafried Wookie, aka DJ Stulu, is playing Ghost of Yodel. I'm leaning towards just going and hanging out with the Aroma Kid. Riff Critter's on. Actually, Riff Critter's an art friend. We'll go over and say hi to Riff Critter. She's co-streaming something, and Rat draws and talks sometimes. So there we go. So if you're on Twitch, you feel free to join the raid. If you're on YouTube, I appreciate that. And we'll be back. Let's do this. Hey, my mod hasn't been here recently too much. He hasn't been feeling well enough to sit in a chair for very long. But check out Charles's Discord. He doesn't stream, but check out his Discord. And also, Fourth Wall. I think you can get a cool Sarah mug like this one right here. There, the cool Sarah mug. Over on his Fourth Wall, I believe. Yeah, thanks for being here, Rod. Hey, I sell stuff at Daz. Feel free to look around, buy if you like. That would be cool. I have a Discord. Feel free to join if you haven't already. There is that. If you put stuff in the gallery, we share it on Saturdays, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And also, I try to make my stream announcements whether or not I'm actually streaming on scheduled streaming days. So that is all good. So let's do this. If you can join the raid and you're not a subscriber, feel free to use that raid call. If you are a subscriber, you get to use the sub raid call. That would be cool. So let's do this. Riv Critter, Control C, do this. Slash raid and Control V. And I think that's good. Has the raid been started? Raid has been started. Alrighty, thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it. And I hope you all have a good rest of a Tuesday or Wednesday for those of you on the happy side of the planet. So, hasta la vista, baby.